You know, it's one of the tiniest marks in the English language, but wow, does the apostrophe cause a ton of confusion. And if you get it wrong, your whole meaning can just flip on its head. So today, we're going to crack the code on the possessive apostrophe, so you can finally use it with total confidence. Let's dive in.
Okay, I just love this quote. One tiny apostrophe decides whether a word simply exists or belongs. I mean, that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? This isn't just about some dusty old grammar rule. It's about clarity. It's about making it obvious who owns what. And that is the power we're going to unpack today.
All right, so let's start with the absolute basics. What is this thing even for? Well, the possessive apostrophe is pretty much our main tool for showing ownership. It's how we make it crystal clear who has something, who's in control of it, or, who an item belongs to in a sentence. I mean, just think about it. When we say Rohan's book, is there any confusion? Nope. We know instantly the book belongs to Rohan. Or the dog's tail. We know exactly whose tail we're talking about. That little tiny mark, it just wipes away all the doubt and assigns clear, unmistakable ownership.
Okay, you ready for the master key that unlocks this entire puzzle? Let's get right into the core rule. This is the one for singular nouns, and it's the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. And the best part? It's super, super simple.
Okay, here it is, the simple two-step recipe. Step 1, you take your singular noun, one teacher, one cat, one car. Step 2, you just add an apostrophe and an S. That's literally it. Doesn't matter what letter the word ends in, if it's just one thing, you add apostrophe S, and boom, you get the teacher's pen. Simple, effective, done.
And here's a really cool way to visualize this. Think of that apostrophe as a flag of ownership. You're planting it right on that word. That little apostrophe S is a bright, clear signal that shouts, hey, this thing belongs to the word that came right before me.
Okay, so singulars, we've got them down. But what happens when ownership gets a little more crowded, right? What if there's more than one person or more than one thing that owns something? Well, that's where we get into the plural puzzle. Let's check it out.
Now this table breaks it all down perfectly. There are basically two roads you can go down here. First, look at the plurals that already end in S, like students. For those, it's easy. You just pop the apostrophe on after the S. But then you've got those tricky irregular plurals that don't end in S, words like children or people. For those, you just treat them like they're singular and add an apostrophe S.
Here's a fantastic little mental shortcut for this. For all those regular plurals that end in S, just think of it this way. The apostrophe moves after the crowd. It doesn't try to rudely squeeze itself into the middle of the word. Nope. It just politely moves to the very end after the entire group. So students is the crowd, and the apostrophe just tags along at the end.
All right, deep breaths, everyone, because we have arrived at what might be the most dangerous, most confusing trap in all of English grammar. It's versus its. I'm not kidding. This single mix-up is probably responsible for more red ink from teachers than any other. But we are going to clear this up right here, right now, once and for all.
Just look at them side by side. It's, with the apostrophe, is always, and I mean always, a contraction. It's just a short way of saying it is, like it's raining outside. Simple. On the other hand, it's, with no apostrophe, is the possessive one. It shows ownership, like in the dog wagged its tail. They look almost identical, but their jobs couldn't be more different.
Okay, so here it is, the one simple test. Seriously, this is the only trick you'll ever need for this. Before you write the word, just ask yourself this one question. Can I expand this out to it is? If the answer is yes, like it is raining, then you use the one with the apostrophe, it's. But if it makes no sense, like the dog wagged its tail, well, that sounds ridiculous, right? So you know you need the other one, it's.
Okay, so just when you think you've got all the rules down pat, of course, the English language has to throw us a little curveball. There is a special group of words out there that are all about ownership, but they live in a strict no apostrophe zone.
So what are these words? They're the possessive pronouns. Mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, and theirs. And the reason they don't need an apostrophe is pretty simple when you think about it. Their entire job, their whole reason for being, is already to show ownership. The word hers, for example, already means belonging to her. Sticking an apostrophe on there would be like putting a hat on a hat. The ownership is already baked right in.
All right, so we've navigated the main rules, we've looked at the exceptions, and we've tackled the most common traps. Let's boil all of this down to a simple, powerful takeaway that's going to give you total apostrophe confidence from this moment forward.
Really, it all comes down to these 3 keys. Key number 1, for any single thing, just add '(s), the cat's toy. Easy. Key number 2, for a group that already ends in S, the apostrophe goes after the crowd, the cat's toys. And key number 3, for the big one, if you're stuck on its versus its, just check if it means it is. If it does, you need that apostrophe. You master these 3 things, and I promise you, you've mastered the possessive apostrophe. And let's end on this one last thought. This tiny little punctuation mark, it isn't just some random rule you have to memorize for a test. It's actually a reflection of how we see the world, how we define the connections between people and objects and even ideas. A word is just a word until an apostrophe shows up and finally gives it a place to belong.